How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to jump into a Michigan State football video. It's going to be my first one on this channel, and we're going to go into a lot of depth, just kind of talking about the previous season. We're going to be talking about the upcoming season the most, really. We're going to be kind of describing, what we kind of feel is going to happen for the Spartans. We're going to go over some record predictions. We're going to go run down through the schedule and stuff as well, and we're going to take a look at some key impact players and then some other players as well that might not be the stars of the team, but I could see having a breakout year and are going to be super important for the Spartans. So yeah, I'm super excited to get started. If you haven't checked out my Michigan State basketball season preview, go ahead and do that. It was uploaded around a month ago or so, and it definitely goes in depth about the upcoming season and the recruiting class, looking at highlights and stuff. So go ahead and check that out. Let's start with Noah Kim and Kaiten Hauser. This whole quarterback room. One of these two guys will be the starting quarterback this year. And it sounds like, from what I've heard, Noah Kim has the edge, which makes sense. Kaiten Hauser being younger, I would rather give him, one more year to kind of sit back and watch and learn the plays. So he's already a redshirt freshman anyway. Noah Kim, however, this might be the last year we see him. And he only threw a few passes last year, and one of them I remember he came in for one play and just threw a touchdown. It was like a 30-yard touchdown, and he actually looks really accurate, so I'm excited to see how well he translates. I do think that he could have a big season and prove some people wrong, because a lot of people don't think he's going to be very good, but we'll find out. Next up, we have Jalen Berger, who I believe was our starting running back last year. Between him and Jarek Brizard, they split a lot of reps, but this is a guy who I have such high hopes for, and I do think that he's probably going to be the star of the team this year. Last year, he definitely didn't have the season I was expecting. I expected a little more from him. When he went to Wisconsin, he was just such a big recruit and had so much potential. Ended up, dealing with some stuff. Transferred to Michigan State. First year at Michigan State wasn't amazing, but he definitely had a lot of big plays that got me excited. And we also had a really horrible offensive line. Like, our O-line last year was just complete dog shit. So it's going to make a big difference if our O-line gets a little bit better and we start using him more. And now that he'll probably be the primary running back, kind of like what we did with Kenneth Walker, I'm excited to see what he does. So I do think that he's going to have a breakout season and be a top 5 running back in the Big Ten for sure. I could see him breaking out and being even bigger than that, though. I could see him being a top 5 running back in the country. He's got the potential for it. Now, do I think he's going to be a top 5 running back in the country? Not necessarily, but for sure in the Big Ten, I could see him being the second or third best in the Big Ten as well, and maybe even one of the best in the whole country, though, because this guy has so much potential. He was expected to be Wisconsin's next big back until Braylon Allen came along. So definitely have high hopes for him, and I do think that he's going to light it up this year and be our best player. He's going to lead this team in rushing and kind of help just lead the way for us offensively and be our big guy that just kind of like what Kenneth Walker did. Maybe not as like Kenneth Walker, because Kenneth Walker was one of a kind, top 10 running back in the NFL this year more than likely, and he's just different. He's built different. But Jalen Berger, I have high hopes for this season. I think he'll do great. Next up, we have Jacoby Windman, and I don't even know what to call this guy, because this dude was phenomenal. I mean, before he got suspended from the whole Michigan tunnel incident, after that game, I should say, that was stupid, but you gotta learn from your actions, and he's gonna have to deal with the consequences. But before that happened, this dude was averaging like a forced fumble and 3 sacks per game. There was one game where he had like 4 sacks and 3 fumbles. Like, this dude was just demolishing any offense we went up against. Washington, obviously, that game wasn't exactly his best game, but he showed up in every single game last year. He was just a menace on defense, whether it was sacking the quarterback, forcing fumbles, coming down the field, not even on his side of the field and making tackles. Like, this dude was just huge. He played a little bit of outside linebacker as well, which I'd like to see him there more. And this guy is definitely, I know I said Jalen Berger is probably going to be our best player. I take that back. If you want to talk about overall impact, I think Jacoby Windman's going to have the biggest impact on this team. I see him going for about 12 sacks, 5 forced fumbles this year, which probably would have been about what he would have done last year. I think he'd get maybe even close to 15 sacks, but I'm just going to go probably 12 and a half sacks, 3 forced fumbles, probably an interception as well. He had an interception last year. So, but yeah, if you want to talk about just overall impact, best player on the team, I see this kid being a first-round pick this year in the draft, maybe like a late first-rounder. I do think last year. He was actually listed as the best defensive player in the country for the first 4 or 5 weeks. And obviously after the whole Michigan incident, he declined, got suspended, and didn't really play much for the rest of the year. But during his time, that dude was insane, and I can't wait to watch him again this year and see what he does. And hopefully he just picks back up where he left off and continues to dominate every single team. We're going to need him in that Washington game week 3. So I really do hope that he did what he did last year. I'm super excited, so we'll see what he does. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he does. And then also I forgot to mention for Jalen Berger's stats, I think I'm going to probably go for, it's kind of hard to say, maybe like 800 yards and like 10 rushing touchdowns. I don't think that's going to be too difficult for him. I don't know if those are too high or too low expectations for, our starting running back, but I think that would be about where I would think he would be for this season. So I'm excited to see what he does as well. And then Noah Kim, and I don't really have a stat prediction for Noah Kim, but I do see him proving a lot of people wrong and being maybe a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the Big Ten. I do think that he's going to be, he's not going to be up above J.J. McCarthy, Tualia Tagovailoa, Kyle McCord, all those guys. I don't think he's going to be above all of them, but I do think he's going to be, within that like just mid area, the 5, 6, 7 area. So yeah, we'll see what he does. Another huge impact player. How about Cal Haladay? This dude was insane as a freshman. I know we all remember that pick 6 in the New Year's 6 bowl game against Pitt, the game-sealing interception that would end up giving us a Peach Bowl victory and basically marking us as a top 8 team in the country that year. What a season, man. I wish we could go back, but still have really, this is another guy I think is going to probably be a late first round, early second round pick. More than likely he's going to be he's going to probably be an early second round pick due to the fact that most linebackers nowadays just aren't as valued as much as what they used to be. Look at guys like, I know Jack Campbell went to the Lions at pick 18, but most people are projecting him to go like late first round, early second round. And I think that Cal Haladay will probably go like late first. I think he'll be probably the second or third linebacker taken off the board this year. I know Penn State's got a good guy there, but I do think that Cal Haladay is the top 3 linebacker in the country, and he's going to be huge for this team this year. I really do hope that he stays healthy and has a huge year because we need him in every way possible. And really excited to see what he does this year because I do think that he's going to probably be our second best player defensively. So, yeah, we'll see what he does. That linebacking group's looking solid this year. We got guys like Darius Snow out there as well. Jacoby Windman might play some outside linebacker for us as well. So, then you got Cal Haladay stuffing up the middle, making plays defensively, and going for pick 6s. So, we'll see what he does. So, that's basically it for my big impact players. Some other players would be Trey Mosley, Jeremy Bernard. Those are 2 big-time receivers that I think need to step up and have a huge year this year, which I think they will. Malik Carr is another one. That guy's going into his junior year. He is such a beast. Another guy would be Aaron Brule, who is going to be another guy coming off the edge, also playing a little bit outside linebacker. Kendall Brooks is another big-time guy that we need to step up. And then obviously Charles Brantley, who I think will probably be, a later round draft pick this year. Antonio Gates Jr., a redshirt freshman, I think will have a solid role this year for us. And then also Darius Snow, who will be a part of that linebacking group. He was hurt all of last year, so I really do hope that he makes it back this year and has a great season. So yeah, now let's talk about some record predictions. I think we can all agree last year, coming off of 11-2 season the year before, we were a little bit hot-headed coming into the next season, feeling good, and all of a sudden we just completely just did not look like Michigan State anymore. We dropped that game against Washington, which was okay, but we shouldn't have lost that game. And then all of a sudden we started dropping games to Maryland, and our offense isn't clicking. Our defense started off not very good, and it got better as the year went on. But, seriously, 5-7 was a bit ridiculous. I think we can all agree. And so I think last year's team, talent-wise, was at least a 8 to 9 win team minimum. I think we should have been at least 8 wins last year. So coming into this year, though, I have us going 7-5. I have us losing basically all the big games. So the 3 games that I do think could be a 50-50 kind of a game would be Penn State, Michigan, and Washington. Those are all 3 games that I do think we could probably win. Those are all going to be top 10 to 20 teams throughout the whole season. So I just really don't know how to feel about that. And I'm not really sure. It's hard to say, but I think 7-5 would be, and then the next year go 8-4, 9-3, and then kind of just keep building our way up until we're back to the 10-2, 11-1 kind of Spartans like we were a couple seasons ago. So really hoping that they just turn it around this year. Last year we dealt with a lot of coaching issues. Scotty Hazelton picked it up towards the end of the year, and then I forget our offensive coordinator's name, but he probably should have been fired because he did not look good at the end of the year or just throughout the whole year. Our offensive line is going to be the biggest, probably, like, we need them to step up the most this year, and if they don't, we're screwed, because that was the biggest reason. I think Thorne sucked last year, and as well as our run game. So we need our O-line to step up in a huge way as well. So our O-line is going to be very important. And besides that, yeah, I just think we're going to lose Michigan, Washington, Ohio State, Penn State, and Maryland. I think those will be our 5 losses. All the other games I think we'll be able to win. And however, I do think that Michigan, Penn State, and Washington are all 50-50 kind of games that we could be like, okay, being at home. If you want me to say which one I think will upset, I think honestly it would be Washington, being just the 3rd game of the year, being at home. Washington's got to get used to the Eastern time, and it's just kind of like what happened to us last year. We just went into Washington asleep, never really woke up that game, and now we're going to be at home. So I'm really excited. I do think that even though we sucked last year, I think this year's going to be a lot better. 7-5, I know it's not great, but it's with the team we have, we don't really have a star quarterback or even a star receiver anymore, I would say. But we have guys like Jeremy Bernard, Antonio Gates Jr., who are on the rise, and I think by next year they're going to be studs. And plus we have Caton Hauser, who's going to be a starter next year, and I'm super excited for him. And defensively, we've honestly got some guys on defense. I think our defense is going to be, I think both our offense and defense will be solid this year, but it's going to be hard to tell. I think 7-5 is probably a good record. Let me know what you guys think. I think 9-3 is probably our ceiling, and then 5-7 would be our floor. 9-3, but I don't want to say 7-5 because I really like our chances against Washington, Michigan, and Penn State. So I could see us, I think 8-4 would be another one I could see us doing. I think 8-4 is very probable. So if you think 8-4, I 100% agree with you. But I have us going 7-5 just because I can't really, kind of after what happened last year, we're going to win this game. I can't see that happening this year. I think we're going to lose some tough games, and I just think that's going to be how it goes. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your guys' predictions, comments, or even like just your thoughts about what I said. Maybe you agree or disagree. And again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it. If you don't, no worries. Go a long way. But obviously I can't force you to do it. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.